to the world.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. I am your host, AMPLIA Holder. Today is Thursday, the 27th of March. I hope that you are up and ready to go. Today is the day the Lord has made and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. We have life, we have energy, we have our jobs and we have a chance to make things better. So I hope that you all are ready to take the day by the horns and take control of your destiny and make the best of the life that you have. So this morning we have a lot to talk about. We still have the politics in the air. So we're going to have a couple of persons to speak to us about the party's plans and policies. But we also have to discuss the operations of the Tobago House of Assembly and all our governing bodies and our NGOs. They're still operating even though the election bell has rung. So we have a lot of exciting things to talk about today. But before we do that, we go to your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Akinlabi. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Thursday, March 27, 2025. The Patriotic Front has selected Wade Carruth for Tobago East and Arita Clark for Tobago West in the upcoming general election, aiming to drive political change. Carruth, deeply involved in Tobago's communities, believes the party is the right platform to address Tobagonians' concerns, including autonomy and budget allocation. While the party leader, Michaela Pandey, emphasized Tobago's role in building a strong national party advocating referendum for autonomy, the party's priorities includes crime reduction, youth employment, and land tenure resolution. The campaign was launched in Scarborough yesterday. However, as the election race intensifies, the All People's Party introduced their candidate Dexter James. Meanwhile, the Innovative Democratic Alliance would have their official election campaign launch tomorrow at the party's headquarters. Up next, Tobago police believe revenge was the motive behind the murder of 32-year-old Bernardo George, who was shot multiple times while having lunch at Corlan Heritage Park in Blackrock. Meanwhile, Tobago Business Chamber Chairman Martin George warned that crime threatens tourism and business, criticizing authorities for failing to curb violence. He urged prioritizing security, comparing Tobago's struggle to Jamaica and Mexico, which protect their tourist zones despite high crime rates. And finally, Saddam Hussein, MP of Barataria, is urging Prime Minister Stuart Young to investigate Housing Minister Adrian Lyon's past business ties with a UK-based man under police scrutiny. At a UNC press conference, Hossain criticized Young for accepting Lyon's explanation, questioning why Lyon's partnered with this individual despite having family in the UK. Hossain pointed out discrepancies in Lyon's claim about the company's purpose and ownership structure. He called for investigations by the police, the Integrity Commission, and for Lyons to be removed from his ministerial post. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you very much for that news in 90 seconds, Biana. And as we're on the topic of our politics, we see that the Patriotic Front launched their candidates yesterday, Biana.
Yes.
Miss Aretha Franklin, I believe, for Tobago
Aretha
West.
Clark.
Aretha Clark. I keep saying Aretha Franklin. I don't know why. But Miss Aretha Clark, my apologies, for Tobago West. And Mr. Wade Carruth for Tobago East. We see they're having conversations, raising the issue of autonomy once again. A lot of political parties are seeking to raise that issue of autonomy on their campaign trails for this election cycle. What do you think about the Patriotic Front's two candidates coming forward?
Well, it's good to see that the youths coming forward to have a change in, the country itself. But what I notice about them, that they have put forward and as a key thing that they would like to deal with is land tenure resolution, which is really a issue on the island of Tobago, eh?
Yes, it's been a burning issue in Tobago for decades now, and it's sort of refreshing to see that someone really bringing the issue of land tenure to the forefront, even foremost than or the autonomy or the THA bill or constitution. Before, we know that those have been quite prominent over the past couple of years and the past couple of election cycles, but this issue of land tenure is also a burning issue for Tobagonians.
And youth employment.
Yes, indeed, youth employment. We see a lot of situations with young men in particular taking a different route, a more dangerous and illegal route to making a living or getting that financial freedom that they may be seeking. So we need to really tackle the issue of youth employment as a means of also tackling crime.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you very much, Biana, for your time, and I wish that you have the best of days. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, we have a couple of announcements. We know, well, some of you may know that there was a bit of an incident at the Tobago Library a couple days ago, which means that the library has been closed for a while. And as such, the New Vision Foundation would like to make a statement to the public, and it goes as follows. Our artwork and tip competition prize giving function, due to be held at the Scarborough Library facility on the 28th of March 2025, has been postponed due to the fire at the said facility. We apologize for any inconvenience caused due to unforeseen circumstances. Subsequent announcements would be made once a new date becomes available. Thank you for your unwavering support to the students who are visually impaired. For further information, please contact any of the telephone numbers below. And those phone numbers are 488-8908, 792-7292, or 765-1116. Once again, those phone numbers are 488-8908, 792-7292, or 765-1116. So we want to get straight into our program. We have a lot to talk about today. We are going to have one person such as Ms. Naya Mapp, who is the Communications Officer of the Tobago Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program, as well as Mr. Sean McCoon, Director of the same said program, and they're coming in to talk about the Main Ridge Fitness Challenge. We also have coming in technical advisor to the Tobago House of Assembly, Mr. Anselm Richards. He's coming on once again to continue the conversation with us. But before we get into those discussions, we're heading over to our birthday shout-outs. Yes, we're heading into our birthday shout-outs, and first up, we have Mr. Dave Elliott. Mr. Dave Elliott, the underwater cameraman. Mr. Elliott, my work colleague, we wish you the happiest of birthdays, sir. And we wish you God's richest blessings. We know you're going to have an excellent day. We wish you greatest of success in the coming year, and everything that you put your hands to, you become a great success at it. Happy birthday, Dave Elliott. Next up, we have Mr. Carl Bruce. Happy birthday, Mr. Bruce. We wish you God's richest blessings. We hope that you're surrounded by love and friends and family and those well-wishers. We hope you get the best of gifts. We hope you have a relaxing, calm day, not too much excitement, and we hope that you can take this time to reflect on God's richest blessings in your life. And finally, we have a colleague, a co-worker, a well-known name in the media space, and our co-worker right here at Tobago Updates, Miss Natalie Seeley Richardson. Happy birthday to you, Mrs. Natalie Seeley Richardson. We wish you God's richest blessings. Happiest of birthdays coming out from your Tobago Updates team. And we know we'll see you later in the week. And we wish you God's richest blessings. We wish that you have an amazing day. You go out to get some beautiful gifts. You eat some nice food. You know, you get pampered to the fullest today. Happy birthday to you. And if you want to send in any birthday greetings, you can contact us at Tobago Updates at sales.tobagoupdates.com. Send in your pictures, send in your birthday greetings and any other celebrations that you may have. Email them to info@tobagoupdates.com or WhatsApp to 284-6597. Now, before we get into the conversations, ladies and gentlemen, we have to go to a break. We have some bills to pay. We have some messages to release. But up next, we have Mr. Sean McCoon and Ms. Naya Mapp, and they're going to talk about the Main Ridge Fitness Challenge. Stick with us. We'll be right back after these messages. Do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
The Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm. On Easter Weekend 2025, Tobago is the place to be from April 17th to 20th. The rhythm, the soul of Tobago. On Thursday, April 17th, get ready for a worship experience at the Shore Complex with melodies from heaven. Melodies from heaven. Then on Saturday, 19th April, immerse yourself in the sun, sea and sand at the Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival, featuring legends of R&B. On Sunday, 20th April, we bring the curtains down at Parade Grounds Dwight York Stadium for Fusion. Get your tickets on islandtickets.com now or visit Tobago Commission.com for more info. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
TNTech please to advise that its Rock Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our Ultimate Sports Package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats. With AMPLIA's fast internet speed, up to 1 gigabyte internet, you can stream riveting action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit AMPLIA.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And before we get into the interview, we just want to make one quick announcement. The Bethel Credit Union, celebrating their 75 years of existence, will have a worship as we give thanks for 75 years of Thanksgiving service. Worship as we give thanks for 75 years at the Montgomery Moravian Church on March 30th, 2025. The time is 9 a.m. They're inviting all their members as well as members of the general public to come out and give thanks with them. We know that the Bethel Credit Union has been a financial institution in Tobago for quite some time and celebrating the 75 years of existence. And we wish them 75 and even more years in existence as they contribute to building up those of Tobago. So we have in studio with us, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sean McCoon, Director on the Board of Directors for the Tobago Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program. And he's come to speak to us about something called the Main Ridge Fitness Challenge. Good morning, Mr. McCoon, and welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Hula. It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
Excellent. So tell us about this Main Ridge Fitness Challenge. What is it really about? I think you were on a couple of weeks ago. It's probably getting closer to the date.
Yes.
So just remind the public what this fitness challenge is about.
Right. So the actual event is scheduled for March 31st, 2025. And this is our second installment of the event. We had one, the first one was in 2023, where we had a very good turnout and we had people coming from Trinidad, many participants from Trinidad. We had two that came from Grenada, if my memory serves me correctly. One from Barbados and one from Grenada. And this year's edition, we have the 5 and 15K walk and run, and we also have a 20K cycling challenge. And all of that ties very nicely in to this year and next year's theme. Next year, we're celebrating 250 years of the Main Ridge Forest Reserve becoming the oldest protected rainforest or the oldest protected green space in the Western Hemisphere. So it all ties in quite nicely to the mandate of Tobago Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program. And it also ties in nicely with us putting on events that are in keeping with our ecotourism thrust and our thrust to showcase how beautiful and how useful our green spaces are right here in Tobago.
Now, I'm wondering, why a fitness challenge out of all the other things that you could choose to do? Why does the reforestation program choose a fitness challenge?
Now, as I indicated before, it's a 5 and 15K walk or run. So for the competitive ones who are actually into athletics and fitness and all the rest of it, they can compete in that regard, and there are prizes and so on. And I'm sure that would go up on the screen in terms of the prizes that are on offer. And why we chose that sort of theme is because it brings families together, it brings people from communities out, and then you have the hard competitors that will come out who are into, as I said before, athletics, fitness, and who are enthusiasts of hiking, running, and outdoor activities. In addition to which, the cycling adds a nice touch to it as well, because we have events, or we have had events on the island which are in keeping with cycling, like say the Tobago Cycling Classic, and then we have Rainbow, and we have all these other things. So we're just simply continuing in the vein and adding value to the Tobago space, blending ecotourism, green space recognition, and fitness, as well as some sort of sport tourism as well.
Now, I know that you would have mentioned that persons coming from abroad would participate in the event in the last year, or whenever was the last edition of the event.
Right. Mainly from Trinidad and one or two competitors or participants from other islands.
Okay. So what is the numbers looking like? Do you all have a maximum amount of persons you all can take to participate in this event, or is it just fully open to the public?
It's fully open to the public.
There's no ceiling?
Not necessarily in terms of the ceiling, because as you would appreciate, the Main Ridge Forest Reserve is a big open space.
Yes.
And the more people that we get to register, compete, participate, or just come for the lime, as the case may be, right? We are more than happy and welcome and open to welcoming everybody with open arms to the Main Ridge Fitness Challenge.
And if persons want to register, they want to participate, how can they go about doing that?
Right. So you can go to the Tobago Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program Facebook page. You can also just look on Google, or you can log on to the Tobago Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program website, and you can find the registration form there. You can also register in person at Millshave Complex. That's the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, a mouthful. And Tags is located there. You can actually register there, as well as the Botanic Gardens, which is the headquarters of reforestation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've spoken a bit about the Main Ridge Fitness Challenge, but I want to get into a bit about the work of the Forestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program. Just tell us, for 2025, what are some of the projects and initiatives that the program is going to initiate in Tobago?
Okay, so continuing from our mandate from a year or two back, and continuing in keeping with what the board was actioning and mandated to do, we have several projects that are ongoing. We have cadres that do lots of great work. They do agroforestry. We also have the Bayleaf local bay leaf and spice tea program, which was a collaborative effort and funded by the United Nations Development Program. We actually wrote a project, and we were successful in securing the grant funding through a competition that was run in Tobago. So there's that project. And we also have several other initiatives. And as you would have seen over the Christmas period, we have events such as the Botanic Gardens Glitzmas, or Christmas Glitz. So we have a blend of events, a blend of agroforestry programs, community-based projects and outreach, and also we are the standard bearers for green space development such as the Botanic Gardens. We have the responsibility of managing that space, and in more recent times, the responsibility for Little Tobago. You will see a lot of interesting, innovative, and very, very good initiatives rather coming out of the Main Ridge Forest Reserve and Little Tobago, which, as you would appreciate, is a ridge to reef system, right? And the Main Ridge Forest Reserve as well as Little Tobago presents many opportunities for Tobago, for Tobagonians, and also for Island as a destination in keeping with our ecotourism trust. So there are many exciting things to come where Little Tobago in particular is concerned.
Now, I know about the Christmas Glitz program. I think that has been running for a couple of years now, if I'm not mistaken, and that seems to be well established. But you mentioned something about a bay leaf program, or a bay leaf.
Local bay leaf and spices and tea.
That sounds
project.
very interesting.
Very interesting.
Could you tell us a bit more about what that initiative is about?
Right. So basically what we are doing is you're taking local spices, herbs, as well as bay leaf, and based on the cultivation of that, you're looking to spur on production of teas and different products or downstream economic activities and benefits through communities from that particular project. One of the should I say line items, or rather one of the interesting parts of that project is community engagement and social enterprise. So one of the other things that reforestation focuses on is building capacity for social enterprise through using our green spaces and through using sustainable methodologies and environmentally friendly mechanisms as well. So we have a very broad scope, and as much as I know people see and are aware of some of the events that we do, we have other very interesting things going on, such as this project.
Okay, and you said in terms of you want to build social enterprise with the initiative. Is it the intention that this the social enterprise would stay as cottage industries, or is it is the goal for it to go beyond cottage industries for exportation and that kind of thing, to reach out into further markets, perhaps Trinidad? Tell us.
Right. So one of the first steps would be to build capacity within communities, and you enable them to be able to do small scale businesses, right? As you said, cottage industries. And as they continue in time and they gain investment and they gain interest from other business community, the business community, and also people who would be interested in buying from, say, Trinidad, they would then scale up based on their capacity, based on what they can produce, because they would have now been enabled through the skills that they would have gained through the training and through their through the skills that they would have gained in cultivating the spices, the herbs, and any of the products that would have been produced from that can now gain some good momentum, and they can scale up operations. So certainly there is room for scaling up of the operations, and certainly there is room for them to build a sustainable business based on sustainable livelihood practices, right? And something that you monetize from the natural environment.
Okay, well, Mr. McCone, we have to cut it short here, but we have to bring you back on because we want to talk about some of those very interesting initiatives that the Tobago Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program has coming up. You have some very good stuff there. We need to dive more into it. But before we go, just tell the people again, give them some more information about the Main Ridge Fitness Challenge. One last time.
So the Main Ridge Forest Fitness Challenge, Main Ridge Forest Fitness Challenge, 31st of March, 2025. You have the 5 and 15K walk and run, and then you have the 20K cycling challenge. So please feel free to log on to our website, go to our Facebook page. Please, you can sign up online, or you can go to Tags, which is at Millshave Complex. You can also sign up at the Botanic Gardens, which is Reforestation's headquarters, or you can also, I understand, we have an intake for sign up at Bishara, which is on the Esplanade. It's a store that is located on the Esplanade. You can also register there. So please feel free, come out, support. It's a wonderful initiative for family, for friends, for youngsters, for the elderly, for anybody. And we welcome you, and Tobago Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program looks forward to having you at the 2025 Main Ridge Fitness Challenge.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Makun. You heard it from the man himself, Director on the Tobago Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program, Mr. Sean Makun, telling you about the Main Ridge Fitness Challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, viewers, we go on a break, and when we come back, we will speak up next with Mr. Anselm Richards, Technical Advisor and Economist at the THA Economic Development Plan. He's going to talk about the THA Economic Development Plan. So do us a favor, share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back after these messages.
Seafood Jazz Festival on April 19th, 2025. We invite you to an evening of smooth rhythms, soulful music as the sun steps behind Bay. Let all your senses be tantalized. Enjoy an array of seafood dishes, browse crafts, and designs created by local artisans, and lose yourself in the soulful melodies of John Sakana. Brian McKnight. Bonnet Bigford. Mikal Tasia. And the best Tobago's talent. Get your physical tickets now. Tickets are also available online at islandetickets.com. Visit Tobago Commission.com for info. 639-9441. The Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival, April 19th at Buku Integrated Facility. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
Welcome back to the Tobago Update Morning Show, and we have in studio with us Mr. Anselm Richards, Technical Advisor to the Tobago House of Assembly, and he's here to discuss the THA Economic Development Plan. But before we get into that conversation, we want to go to our photo of the day. Yes, our photo of the day was sent in by Virtual Tobago. Our photo of the day was sent in by Virtual Tobago, and I believe, as a matter of fact, let me keep it a secret for now. I almost let the cat out the bag. So you're sending your messages on our Facebook and our YouTube live chats and tell us where you think this photo of the day is. Photo of the day sent in by Virtual Tobago. So we get right into the conversation with Mr. Anselm Richards. Good morning, Mr. Richards, and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, world, wherever in it you are.
So, you know, last time we had the conversation, it was quite energetic.
Yes.
Yes. So, and we started talking about the economic development plan for Tobago.
And you wanted more.
And we wanted more. So you're back here to give us more. So just tell us, this economic development plan that this administration has been developing, what is the vision for Tobago economically?
Right. So the broad ambitious vision, as I said, is to take Tobago, or the ambition is to become the greatest circle island on the planet. That's a big, ambitious dream for Tobago.
Yes.
And that is what we're going to bring us together, and then we drive our development transformational issues, right? Remember I said at the last time that we were not doing the traditional economic planning, because when we did the research, we recognized that all the plans dating back to 1963 that preceded Flora, coming up to the current, 90% of the recommendation of those plans are still relevant in our development space today, meaning that we have an implementation deficit that is manifesting through by the lack of technical capacity, financial resources to do the part, administrative capacity, and so forth. So what we would have done, there's this new emerging strategy for development I call a development pathway, right? Which is a systematic, logical framework to take you to a certain destination, a pathway, a path that you are going along.
Yes.
So it's not a complicated issue, it's a very organic way of planning. And what it does, it relocates planning at the sectorial level, as opposed to somebody sitting somewhere in an office in Trinidad or anywhere in the world and writing a plan for you. This one is very organic, it is very fluid, and it gives you the ability to make the adjustment as you go along. So it's a development pathway. It gives you it is more operational than philosophical, in other words. Right? So it captures your whole program, all your projects, your programs, your projects, your timelines, your deliverables, and that's the frame that we are using, the development pathway.
So tell us, you spoke about the general goal of the economic plan. Well, just let's go into detail about what some of these initiatives will look like.
So let me just give you the strategic policy agenda is wrapped in five intersecting and broad overlapping strategic policy focus. One, self-determination, right? And that is, we have to design and implement a Tobago government that is in line with our social, cultural, and economic prosperity of current and future generation, right? Two, institutional reform. If you're doing anything, there has to be institutional reform, right? And that is a problem we have in the country. For instance, we have a national security challenge, and there have not been any institutional reform of the Ministry of National Security to change how they do business. They have not established, since we have been challenged by the proliferation of firearms on our street, and I can't even say small arms again, but we have military grade now. They have not done any institutional transformation at the Ministry of National Security to create a department of border security and border control. Recall that in the United States, when they had 9/11, they created a new institutional response to those kinds of threats called the Department of Homeland Security. So most time when you are responding to public challenges and public problems, there has to be an institutional capacity created to respond to those challenges. We are not operating in that mode in this country. But in our development planning space, we have recognized those deficiencies in our approach to planning over the years and have now integrate that into our planning model, that we will create the necessary institutional responses to our public problems. Because government is about solving public problems, you know, and and creating solutions to the public challenges for the public. That is the core function of government, right? So the other thing is economic reform and growth. You have to create jobs, you have to create new industries, new sectors to drive the economic transformation, to create the kind of livelihoods and opportunity. Kamala Harris said last time she wanted to create an opportunity economy. We will not use that, but it's opportunities for an equal opportunity, inclusive opportunities for all, right? So the other point is the other philosophical point that wraps the philosophy of the planning. Let me just pull it, the computer jump up the scale. Right. So the grand vision of the plan, as I told you, become the greatest little island in the world. That is to align our development with those small islands that have high GDP, per capita income. Exactly. You see, you're following the conversation, man. You're an economist.
Well, I used to aspire to that in high school, but
don't be afraid, you know. Still do what your passion is about. Follow the trend.
I do my passion.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then the final thing is the integrated development planning model I spoke to you about that brings all of that together.
Yes.
Right? So in that, let me bring up for you the 21 development priority agendas. And then that will set the context of what we are doing. Right? So I told you this is a big document and
I really want to get into the nitty-gritty, into the details of what are the initiatives, what's your plan for agriculture, what's your plan for tourism, what's your plan for X, Y, Z.
All right, so we have to, so we don't probably need to spend the time to get into this thing, because this will be online for the public to access. So we have 21 development priorities that speak to education, health, public transportation, public infrastructure, food security, food sovereignty, because we want to produce a certain percentage of our the food we consume here, given our agricultural capabilities and our land capabilities. We have to introduce in a significant way in our agricultural processes science and technology to do the transformation, as we spoke about in part of the philosophical thing. We have to deploy digital solution in our public service administration. So we have public service reform. So we have a host of development priority agenda, 21 of them.
So, Mr. Richards, you're speaking towards, you have identified areas for economic development and development that will lead to economic development of the island on a whole. What I want to get into is the particular initiatives. Do you all have you all established, created particular initiatives and plans that you want to execute? Is there a specific direction you want agriculture to go in, and what is that initiative you're going to implement to get that done? So the overall development agenda for agriculture is promoting food security and food sovereignty. Under that initiative, you'll have a number of programs. Programs are the big items, like, you want to have, let me see, meat security, for want of a better. Sufficiency in poultry production. But you will have different projects under that program in terms of your protein. Let me say protein, meats and eggs and so forth, right? And milk. So you have different program under your sufficiency for protein. So you will have, let me say, small ruminants, a program to deal with that. You'll have chicken production or poultry production, eggs production. So all those are specific projects under that program. And you'll have those.
So we have those things. We have those things in place, right?
You have those programs in place.
We have some of them, because you can't do everything. Resources. So you have to do what we call strategic selectivity.
So can you speak to some of these programs today?
Right. So for this fiscal, as I told you on the last occasion, the Executive Council has identified 44 priority projects. Because remember, as I said last week, one of the challenges we have in development in Tobago is the small and minute development budget. And recall, I also mentioned that from fiscal 2022 to fiscal 2025, our development budget has been reduced from $400 million to $265 million. That is almost 50% reduction.
So you're constrained.
Very much constrained. And the constraint go beyond that, because I will share with you some interesting development that is happening in the funding of Tobago, that Tobagonians and all of us need to understand the kind of pressure that the THA is being placed under. And I labeled it a campaign of defunding the development of Tobago. And it is written in some of the national budget. And I want to give thanks to one of my colleagues who supplied me with some excerpt from the 3 last budget that speaks to that last night, because we were discussing this program. So we have that challenge, right? So we have to do what we call strategic selectivity. So we have, and sometimes when you do the selectivity, we have to even reduce the work plan, because remember, we come to the people of Tobago in June every year and present a very comprehensive budget statement.
So what does the work plan look like now?
Right, they look 44 projects on the development side, because remember, the budget comes in 2 phases or 2 parts or 2 components. Recurrent is to pay the bill that keeps the lights on, open the business, the social support for people, for the disadvantaged and so forth. And then the transformation thing is your capital expenditure or a development project.
Yes.
Right, and that has been reduced by 50%. So what was proposed after we were not given what we asked for from the national budget, the Assembly had to go back now into retreat and reprioritize and recalibrate its work program based on the resources that have been made available to it through the Parliament.
Yes.
$206 million. In addition to that, what we do normally is that we have to, what they call, restrain or restrict our our recurrent expenditure, paying the bills, the security, and so forth, and tech. We owe this administration, and I'm talking straight because we come to talk, and people have to understand. The cultural complex, this administration inherited a light bill for the cultural complex for $10 million.
That's significant. That's quite significant.
$10 million. Right?
So that's recurrent expenditure.
Right? So let me tell you what we propose to do. Right? So there are 44 projects in the Office of the Chief Secretary. I don't know if you heard about the program called POSH, which is housing, and right. So I guess you're preparing yourself to apply when you get land and thing already. If you get land, you can't apply it. If you get land, you can't apply it. And we have strict investigations going on there. We have the land ownership rule, so don't double apply. That is for persons, public officers. So this is a special public officer subsidized housing program. So the Chief Secretary recognized that when you throw public servants in the general mix for housing, sometime, and our public servants. So this is a special program to give a pathway to public servants to get subsidized housing in the space, right? The autonomy bill, as I told you last week, remains a priority project for development. We cannot do the transformation of this island without securing autonomy for the island. And the autonomy question, and let me put it very simple for all of us to understand. The real challenge with us for the autonomy is to amend the constitution or transform the constitution, giving Tobago lawmaking authority for the matters that it is responsible for. And let me give you an example. We have had some incidents with small seacraft, jet skis and things in Pigeon Point. The Tobago Assembly cannot make a law to regulate the use of those vehicles, motor vehicles in Tobago, anywhere around Tobago, right? We have had this situation recently where the Registrar General Office, the Deputy Registrar General who was assigned to Tobago, Mrs. Beckles, was forced out of office. Now, if you want your board paper at Tobago, somebody from Trinidad have to come and sign it and say, you born at Tobago, And we had a Tobagonian who were doing that. And this administration reversed that.
Okay, so we have the
Right,
issue of the autonomy.
So the autonomy thing becomes very, very critical because what it does, it gives, especially the lawmaking power and the executive authority for the areas over which Tobago has final constitutional authority. It gives the THA the authority to make the policy and makes the law to give force.
We can talk more about the
Right?
So
Let me get back to the 44 project. But those are things that we need to put up front, right? So the autonomy bill remains thing, right? And these are the projects in the office of the Chief Secretary. The Culloden Plainfield, remember I told you last time that we purchased the Culloden estate. We completed the acquisition of this administration. It started in 2017, I think, with the last administration, and there was some legal challenge between the owner and the bank that repossessed the Culloden estate. And the matter went to the Privy Council, completed, give the clear this administration on technical review and advice, executed. So the Culloden estate has been purchased and is owned by the THA. It comes with approval for hotel development and villas and so forth. But we recognize also that there are some missing social infrastructure in the Culloden area. And one of the things that the Chief Secretary has designed or has approved is the construction of a playing field to create that social cohesiveness in the Culloden area. And if you look at and I want to say the crime map, if you look at the social deviance map in Tobago, you will see a lot of activity in terms of social deviance happening in that space, and we need to treat it in a particular way. And we are, as I said, we are responding to public problems. That is what government is about, right? So we have that. So that is in the office of the Chief Secretary. In the Division of Finance, a critical program we have, and it's targeted GDP growth by making targeted capital investment in key sectors. We understand that the current financial services sector is not delivering the kind of financial solutions for business development in Tobago. And therefore, the government of Tobago, as far as its capabilities offer it, needs to intervene to correct the situation as fast as possible. Right? You have heard for years the notion or the saying that we have to establish a Tobago Development Bank.
Yes.
This administration has really pushed that project down the road, right? We have the institution registered. We are not calling it a Tobago Bank, but the institution is now called the Tobago Development Fund, because the bank creates a level of regulatory oversight with the central bank and all of that would have delayed the implementation of the project. So when we do the analysis, we recognize that we can just switch the name from a development bank to a development fund. Down the road, we can always go back to the bank if that is the ambition of the Tobagonians. But at least we get the institutional functional. It is registered. There is the board of directors. So we are moving. We are building out the space to operationalize it. We are going to market at this particular point to recruit a CEO and the senior management staff. We have developed a body of policies for the operation of the bank that we have sent out to some of our for technical peer review at institution at the same level. Like we have engaged the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank to review the policy, because the IDB, the Inter-American Development Bank, looked at this program and they signed off on it. They offered us $100,000 in technical assistance to establish this institution because they saw the need. We made the case, we did the analysis, and they came on board with us. You know what happened? When they signed the request for the non-approval, because how the system works, for us to get the technical support from the IDB, the Ministry of Planning have to give non-objection for them to assist Tobago. The Ministry of Planning refused to issue the non-objection.
All right, Mr. Richard.
No. Yes, these things have to be told. I want to explain to you.
I understand. We will come back and we have to go on a break.
We're going on a break.
Yes,
we have
to go on a break.
Because I want to tell you, you asked for more, you know.
Yes.
And I come to give you more.
Break.
And we get documents to it.
And we'll discuss the issue of the Tobago Development Bank.
And we'll
talk about more on the issue of autonomy.
Right.
We have to go on a break. But before we go on a break, viewers, we go back to a photo of the day. And the photo of the day is a photo taken of the Buku Heritage Park. And that was sent in by Virtual Tobago. Yes, this is a photo of the Buku Heritage Park, and it was sent in by Virtual Tours Tobago. So we want to go on a break, ladies and gentlemen. Do us a favor. Your friends, your family, they all want to get in on this discussion. It's a very important discussion. So do us a favor, share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back after these messages.
You heard a voice on the radio, seen her in your worship, and sung her songs during your time of praise. Sinesh comes to Tobago for Melodies from Heaven on April 17th. The Shore Complex Lights with praise and worship from 6 p.m. for Melodies from Heaven featuring Sinesh. Samuel Maiden. Positive. Blessed Messenger. Renee Fortune and many more. Get your tickets also available online at etickets.com. Visit Tobago.com for more info. 6399441. April 17th, Shore Complex. Melodies from Heaven. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Fest 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
So guys, how we get big This is 116, the show that's you in the know with all things Tobago House Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers fun and engaging overview of the latest development, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into Tobago House Assembly's week in review right here on 116.
Want to get up? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Needed doctor search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Juba Lifestyle Center at our wellness center in Goodwood or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or doctor's office in Goodwood and Darrow Springs. Contact 499 Swift 4979 438.
Welcome back, viewers, and we are still in studio with Mr. Anselm Richards, technical advisor to the THA, and we're talking about the Tobago House of Assembly Economic Development Plan, and we want to go back into the conversations. But before we do that, we want to do our back in the day, Tobago back in the day photo, and it's coming up right now. Can you tell us where this is? I think it's a sellout, but still, send in your answers to our Facebook and YouTube live chats, telling us where this is and what time you think it is, what year you think this photo was taken in, or Tobago back in the day photo. And we want to get back into the conversation with Mr. Richards. And Mr. Richards, I want to pose something to you. I want to shift the conversation a bit to Tobago's autonomy. And we had in earlier this week the leader of the Tobago Council of the People's National Movement, Mr. Ansel Dennis. And he was speaking about the Tobago Autonomy Bill, and he said that Tobago had an opportunity to get an increase of over $1 billion in revenue, as well as lawmaking powers, and that this THA administration did not support the bill. So you spoke about wanting lawmaking powers, and here we had an opportunity to take the lawmaking powers, but this administration rejected it. What's going on?
Listen, the Super Dennis and I will come and they will parrot and mouth the agenda of the principles in Trinidad. And everybody in Tobago knows that from inception, the PNM have never been in support of Tobago autonomy, right? There are some cosmetic provision in that bill that speaks to lawmaking powers. But when you read the bill, the Parliament in Trinidad had the authority to wipe off everything we do in Tobago in lawmaking powers. True internal self-government with proper legislative authority will be an unfettered provision that the Tobago House of Assembly has the constitutional authority to make laws for the matters that for which it is responsible for Tobago and that are implementable in the space that is defined as Tobago. In that same bill, they had two definitions of Tobago. And you would listen to the debate. I'm sure you will listen to the debate. And when the opposition asks them, why are we using two different definitions for the same space? Camille Regis Robinson couldn't answer. Rowley had to intervene. So the bill, those things were not agreed to with the principals in Scarborough. You have to sit down and come to the table and make the case and negotiate and come to a settling point, a landing point. That has not happened. You understand? We are not saying that there are not some good provisions in the bill, but the bill has not met the minimum threshold for a sustainable legislative arrangement and executive authority for internal self-government.
So you
right?
stated that.
So let me go back to the $1 million, the $1 billion. We asked for, and I asked a colleague of mine to calculate the amount for me. We asked in the last TTA budget for 5.8% of the national budget. The DRC, which guides the allocation to Tobago, established in 2021, September, says that Tobago should get between 4.03% and 6.9%. The 4.03% was the population size of Tobago as a share of the national population at the time.
Yes.
So that was what you call the per capita share, meaning that every citizen of the country will get $1 of the expenditure. Right?
Yes.
At the time when the budget was being presented last year, when we met with the Minister of Finance, the Secretary of Finance and myself on a team, the population of Tobago now is 5.1% of the national budget. We presented the argument and we gave them copies of the DRC report because all of them in Port of Spain in the Ministry of Finance didn't understand the DRC ruling. We made the case to them. And we said that as a minimum, we should be awarded 5.1%, which is the per capita share. We said to the minister, we are not asking for any privileges. All we are asking for, Mr. Minister, is equity. Give every citizen their $1 of expenditure. He asked the senior budget analyst if they have to give Tobago 5.1%, they got to take from Trinidad. That's what he's saying. We don't come on this program to tell you, That is what the minister said, right? They don't need no constitutional amendment bill to give Tobago 5.1%. It falls within the range of the DRC. They came months after with a bill proposing how much percent? So, and they refused to give us 5.8 and they come with a bill purporting more than 5.8.
You said
so
that.
let them understand them don't come here and try to murmur guy Tobago.
You said that.
you understand? Because people,
I understand what you're saying, but you're claiming that the bill that the People's National Movement had brought forward for passing in Parliament did not meet the minimum requirement. They didn't mean the threshold.
The threshold.
What is the threshold as far as this administration is concerned? And you said that there were some good elements in it.
Of course.
Don't you believe in incremental development? Why not take the good that they had at the time and then build upon that?
We cannot go. We have been going this way of incremental improvement. When you go to the 1980 bill,
yes.
Act 37 of 1980, that we established the THA. Then it took us another cycle to come to Bill 40 of 1996. We are saying the time has come for us to make a fundamental shift from this 1997 colonial constitutional arrangement that has to be in the position it is in. Right? We are not taking this incremental thing, and it's the same way they're giving an incremental $1 to develop the island. And I will go to the national budget. The time has come for us to sit down as Trinidad and Tobago and create a constitutional arrangement that gives the people of Tobago the constitutional authority and the executive authority to take control of their destiny in terms of setting up our economy, making the laws to regulate how we want to govern ourselves in Tobago in a relationship with Trinidad at the Republic, at the national level. But we must be given the constitution, the unfettered constitutional authority to deal with those matters that are important to us on a day-to-day operation. We are not going to sign off on anything that is short of that. We are saying that that is the minimum threshold. We cannot set up a legislation where a remote power can intervene and take control of our government without the people. Right?
But Mr. Richards, in the absence of that fundamental shift, isn't incremental development still progress? And shouldn't the people of Tobago be able to seize these incremental developments as we go along? I mean, an extra $1 billion on lawmaking abilities is still an improvement.
The lawmaking, the improvement of, I'm saying one, the extra $1 billion doesn't need the passing of the bill. So you can't tie this extra $1 billion to which we are entitled, because if you do the calculation, 5.8% of the national budget.
It would have been guaranteed, not so.
I am saying if the PNM is trading and behaving in good faith,
yes,
they could have demonstrated. Don't tag on that as a bribe for us to accept your incomplete and inefficient legislation.
But if you have an extra $1 billion,
and I'm saying that if the Rowley administration, if Dennis and them,
yes,
was genuine, why they didn't stand up in the parliament and say, give the people and them the 5.8%, so we deserve it.
Let me ask you a question.
No.
If you get an extra $1 billion by law, then you don't need to depend on good faith.
And I'm saying that you don't need no law for that.
But you don't need to depend on good faith if it's in law.
And I'm saying that they should have demonstrated, well, I'm saying they should have demonstrated it in good faith. And then we might have accepted the bill.
Okay.
They would not deceive the people of Tobago. So because let me tell you something. Not everybody who tell you good night just go and sleep.
So are you
Some of them just go in graveyard and sit down in tomb and plot evil against the people of Tobago.
Are you saying you would have preferred a good faith gesture instead of a guarantee by law?
I am saying that if the PNM was genuinely interested in giving Tobago its fair share of the national budget, we have made the comprehensive argument and provided the supporting document to the Ministry of Finance before this bill came to Parliament, right? And they refuse. Then they come mere weeks after with a bill purporting that they want to give us more when they had an opportunity to give us more. You understand?
Let me make a quick switch to the Tobago Development Bank because we're running out of time. I want to talk about this Tobago Development Bank, why the administration saw the need for it, or what they envision the bank to do to transform Tobago economically.
Right. So the Tobago Development Bank is not a new project. This is a project that was developed when Vanus James did the first comprehensive economic development plan for Tobago under the Hotray Charles administration. The bank is intended to mobilize investment capital for the development of Tobago, both at the public and private level, right? Because we have to create, as I said, the existing financial services sector is not creating the kind of financing instrument that is required to respond to the development needs of Tobago, right? They are the traditional thing that's probably good for the Trinidad economy. Even before the development bank, you will recall that the THA would have established BDU. Remember that BDU, the Business Development Unit, they're giving out grants and loans, and then they established the venture capital. All those activities, projects are in response to the public problem of financing for development in Tobago. So the THA before has made a start. The review of those programs and the analysis have shown that those programs are not significant. They have not created the impact, and they are not significant in terms of the volume of capital that is necessary to mobilize to create the economic shift in the Tobago economy. And we thought that a bank with new institutional arrangement, new funding arrangement will bring the volume of capital and the technical assistance to businesses and the THA for the development of the island. That's why we move into the establishment of the Tobago Development Bank. I told you the project was presented to the IDB. The IDB saw the need because they are development bank in Grenada, St. Lucia, Jamaica, and so forth. And those banks have created economic transformation in those spaces. And therefore the model is proven across the region and internationally. So we have moved ahead with the program. What we are going to do, we are going to retain some of the activities that is being conducted by the BDU that will come under the bank. We are also doing the loan guarantee program. So businesses that are facing cash flow problems and need working capital expansion to expand their businesses, the loan guarantee is being executed by First Citizen Bank through the Bankers Association, and we are putting up some guarantee, and business can go in now and get loans up to $3 million so that they can restock and drive the transformation of their businesses and create jobs and other type of benefits benefit to the people of Tobago. So that is really in a nutshell what the Development Bank or the Tobago Development Fund is being designed to do. We are building out a very robust institution with strong governance and operational policies. Because you know, when you're talking financial institution, the governance arrangement is critical, right? So we are insulating it from the hands of politicians and so forth by its design,
Right.
so that we can't get a politician coming in to tell you give W $60 million out of 100 and them kind of thing. So we are creating an institution for the people and for the development of Tobago. I'm saying to you again that it would have won the approval of the IDB. The IDB would have invested 600,000 TT dollars to assist us in developing the policies and all of that. That program, that bank, that initiative is being blocked by the central government, by their refusal to issue the non-objection, right? We have a situation here, and I share the document with you, right? And
Mr. Richards, we can't go any further in. I'll let you get off that last shot against your political opponents, but we can't go any further. Viewers, you'll have to come back again, you know, because you could talk for a week and more. So you'll have to come back again. But we really have to wrap up.
Wait, let me tell Tobago about this one day. The last one. Let me tell you.
You have 30 seconds.
30 seconds. So what we have.
Give me 10 seconds. Give me 10 seconds.
Right. So, Tropical Storm Beryl, passed, damaged Tobago, the thing. The CRIF, the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, paid out $372,752 for Tobago. The Minister of Finance and them take the money at Trinidad, and he get a man up at Bethel, whose house was damaged, and we had to pull back the roof. The man still get a tarpaulin in the house. Me wash him for to go and look for brother, and I see brother at church. Me wash him for go look for brother Lashley.
All right.
Up at Bethel.
Right,
and he from Bethel too.
All right.
And they take the money, they take away $2 million at Trinidad.
Next time I come on here, we'll come back to that.
And we get the revenue authority bill here too.
Thank you very much.
Where they say all our money is section 26. All our money have to go to Trinidad.
Okay, we'll talk about it later. You don't want me to say we'll talk about it later some other time. But ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our program. But before we go, we have one last birthday shout out, a special birthday shout out to Miss Olive Williams from Scarborough, Tobago, and she's celebrating her 102nd birthday. She celebrated it yesterday on March 26th. So long life, long blessings. We say happy birthday, happy belated birthday to you, Miss Olive Williams, and we wish God's greatest blessings on you. We have to go to our Tobago back in the day photo, or Tobago back in the day photo. It's coming up right now. And that Tobago back in the day photo is from Carrington Street in Scarborough. Carrington Street in Scarborough. I think most persons would have gotten this one quite easy. And this photo was taken in 1980. So ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our show this morning, but it is not the end of our programming. We move forward into GMT with Candice Chulhan, ladies and gentlemen. So we want us to do a favor for us. Share the live. We'll be right back with GMT.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Celebrating anniversaries is important to fostering connections and acknowledging growth and shared experiences, as well as setting a foundation for future goals and aspirations. Around the region, they are known as the leading disaster management agency. Here in Tobago, we call them TIMA, and they recently celebrated their 27th anniversary. One activity was a health and wellness day.
We are accustomed doing stuff like this with every institution that require our service. Here today, we are here to assist with the staff of TIMA in ensuring that they maintain their health and the importance of health, importance of knowing your numbers in terms of your blood pressure, your sugar, your weight, your BMI, to make sure it is in line with your height and your weight. The importance of checking your blood pressure is to ensure that you don't end up with stuff like a diagnosis with like heart attack or stroke. Also, that could also help us to send you also to the health center to do blood testing for stuff like your cholesterol and other blood work, so that we could determine if you are newly diagnosed or if you have been seen about your health. So we have the blood pressure testing, we have the sugar testing, we have the dietitians here who would do your weight, your BMI, and tell you how much body fat there is. We also have dental here to take care of the mouth, which is also important because of the bacteria and stuff that can cause different diseases to your organs and stuff like that.
TIMA workers share their love, experiences, and appreciation for their job.
Today for the staff, we are having a health and wellness program to commemorate our 27th year anniversary here at TIMA.
I am the GIS specialist at TIMA, so that's a Geographic Information System person. We deal with mapping as well as evacuation routes, evacuation maps, data elevation models, risk assessments, etc. I'm also attached to the planning department, so we do a lot of analysis as well as gap analysis as well as reports. So we basically are the brains somewhat of the organization. For me, my time here during this period would have been very great for me. Would have been able to respond to the oil spill as well as Tropical Storm Karen as well as other emergencies. This would have given you a lot of knowledge as well as wisdom in terms of how natural disasters actually operate, because reading about it is one thing, but actually being able to assist persons as well as to respond to it is something different. So it comes like you learn the theory and then you have to do the practical aspect of it. Life here is really great. It's a family environment. Yes, we may have our disagreements, but it's a high pressure environment, but we always have the ability to bounce back from or whatever would have impacted us, and that shows a lot of resilience within the organization. So cheers to 27 years.
TIMA's mission is to coordinate a network of agencies and individuals within the island of Tobago to direct their efforts to maximize preservation of life and the protection of the property in times of disaster.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
It's a Good morning, Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region, with the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine. I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds for Thursday, 23rd March 2025. The Patriotic Front has selected Wade Carruth for Tobago East and Aretha Clark for Tobago West in the upcoming general election. Carruth, deeply involved in Tobago's communities, believes the is the right platform to address Tobagonians' concerns, including autonomy and budgetary allocations. Meanwhile, party leader Michaela Pandey emphasized Tobago's role in building a strong national party, advocating referendums for autonomy. The party's priorities include crime reduction, youth employment, and land tenure resolution. The campaign was launched in Scarborough yesterday. As the election race intensifies, the All People's Party introduced their Tobago West candidate, Dexter James. Meanwhile, the Innovative Democratic Alliance, the IDA, will have their official election campaign launched tomorrow at the party's headquarters. And now, the Tobago police believe revenge was the motive behind the murder of 32-year-old Bernardo George, who was shot multiple times while having his lunch at Corland Heritage Park in Black Rock. Meanwhile, the Tobago Business Chamber Chairman, Martin George, warned that crime threatens tourism and business, criticizing authorities for failing to curb violence. He urged prioritizing security, comparing Tobago's struggles to Jamaica and Mexico, which protect their tourist zones despite high crime rates. And nationally, Saddam Hussein, MP for Barataria, is urging Prime Minister Stuart Young to investigate Housing Minister Adrian Leonce's past business ties with a UK-based man under police scrutiny. At a UNC press conference, Hussein criticized Young for accepting Leonce's explanation, questioning why Leonce partnered with this individual despite having a family in the UK. Hussein pointed out discrepancies in Leonce's claims about the company's purpose and ownership structure. He called for investigations by the police, the Integrity Commission, and for Leonce to be removed from his ministerial position. And that was the news in 90 seconds. And now, viewers, getting into our conversations this morning, we are going to get things started off as we hear about something called abundant praise. So to tell us about what is abundant praise and why you should be interested, I am being joined by Ms. Natasha Brown Allen, a committee member, as well as Shirma Alexander Williams, also a committee member. Good morning and welcome to you both. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. We are doing well.
Great to have you. Now, first of all, what is abundant praise?
Well, this is a concert that you won't want to miss. Awesome. It's going to be a lively concert. It's going to be a concert filled with music. It is going to be a concert filled with instrumentals. And it's all about fundraising for our church, Signal Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about what can we expect when we come to this Abundant Praise concert.
Well, first, let me say Signal Hill is a community church.
Yes.
So we are always involved, and we have the community involved with us as well. Mm-hmm. So even at the concert, we do have artists or ministers from our community. So we have ministers coming in from Trinidad, some of them local. I can give you a few names. We have Generation of Praise. We have Ayana, Benjamin, Charles. We have from our community, Mr. Glenn Ford, Nore. We also have from our community, and everyone will probably know her, Miss Rosalind Reed. From the community as well, we have Delani Baines. And coming in from Trinidad, we have Rodney Alexander. He's on the bass. We also have Samuel, and we have Anton. They do saxophone. And we also have Youth Vibrations. They are all coming in from Trinidad. So we have a packed program, and we want you to know that this is a program with a difference, right? Most times we go and we hear singing, but this time we want persons to come and recognize that they are going to be blessed. So it's not just, although we know that it's a fundraising venture, it is about worship. Mm-hmm. It is about praise, because we recognize we can only achieve what we are going to and what we have already achieved through Jesus Christ. So we want to give him the most abundant praise ever.
Great. So you said it was a fundraiser. What are you raising the funds for?
This will be for our church building, our new church building. Right now we are located on the main road in Signal Hill, and we will be moving to our new site, which is close to the Army base in Signal Hill. You know where the hospital is there? Right. So it will be in the back there. And so we want to raise funds to build our new church. But this new church is not just going to be where we come to worship, but it's also going to be servicing the community, as Sister Shuma would have said. All right. So we are going to have like conference rooms and place for persons to be able to, in the community, to be able to come and, you know, do things, maybe like a homework club and that kind of thing as well. So it's about church and service to the community. So that's what we are about, building our new church.
And you know what's interesting is that the spot where you said that you're building is sort of becoming a little bit of a religious hub here in Tobago, because we have the Hindu Society constructed there,
the
Mandir there, as well as the Baptist. So, I mean, tell me about just being able to situate yourself in that space and, you know, to have that sort of union or togetherness with other religions.
And that is why we say we are a community church. We connect with everybody. It doesn't matter religions, it doesn't matter race, it doesn't matter whatever, we connect with everybody. Because we recognize that in our communities, we have so many young people who need some sort of hope. So even being where we are going to be, close to the Baptist community, the Hindu community, we are all going to, I think most importantly, we have one purpose, and that is to try to help the youths and the people of the community. And even at our church has so many young people. We are filled with young people. We have so many other programs beside just going and singing and worshiping. We have programs geared towards young people, like Pathfinder clubs. We have our Adventist Youth Program on Saturday evenings. Those programs are packed with young people. And if we can reach one young person, we can change our community, we can change society. So being there is ideal, I believe, so that we can all work together in unity, in oneness, so that we can bring positivity and change, sharing Jesus in our community.
And what's also interesting is that as you went through the lineup earlier, you are using a lot of people from the community to be part of this special concert.
Definitely, because that's what it is all about. But before we miss it, we want to tell you when it's going to be.
Of course.
So it's going to be on the 13th of April, 7 p.m. at the Scarborough Secondary School Auditorium. So that's 13th April, Sunday the 13th of April, 7 p.m., Scarborough Secondary School Auditorium. And for the prices, adults pay only $100. Of course, if you want to contribute more, we'll be happy for your contribution. Adults tickets, $100. Children ages 3 through 12, $50. And children under 3 are free. We will be happy to get donations as well. So we don't just want you to just buy one ticket and say, yes, that's it. No, because we want to build this structure, it's going to cost us a lot of money. And so we want to partner with you. We want to ask you to help us in building this structure. So even if you want to reach out to us to even purchase tickets, plural, and share those tickets, we would be so happy for you to assist us in this area. So let me just shoot some numbers at you so that you can call for these tickets or to give your donations. It's 705-4116, 683-6734, and 726-5145. These are all committee members.
All right, great. And of course, I mean, it's all about, like I said, making an impact in the community and so on. Is there anything else special that we can expect to see at this concert as well? Anything hidden? Any surprises?
Well, the surprises you have to come to see. Right? You have to come to see. And I want you to note that even if you cannot come, still purchase a ticket or still contribute to, because the monies, as we said, is going towards our church building. So even if you cannot come physically and you can contribute towards this fundraising event, do so. Or maybe you can purchase a ticket for someone, but come and you're gonna be surprised because it's Signal Hill. And those persons who know Signal Hill SDA Church is a church of, it's a church where the worship is unique. That's our motto up there. The worship is unique.
Why is it unique?
Because we have something that is very priceless. And as I said before, a church that is rich with youths. are a rich church. Filled with youth, are a rich church. So we have young people involved in almost every area of the church. You look at the visual team, young people. Music team, young people. Those who are involved even in the deaconry, young people. And a rich church is a church that is filled with young people. And the worship is spirit-filled. So we often say Signal Hill, where the fellowship is unique. So come on, be a part of our concert. We are asking everyone on the island of Tobago. We're going to find space in Scarborough Sec. You just come on down.
Well, in Signal Hill. But it's a big school. It's a big space.
Scarborough.
Okay.
Yes, we'll be at Scarborough Secondary School. And just to add, that night, don't cook dinner. All right? Because we'll have refreshments on sale. And that will be your dinner. So come with your pockets filled with money to contribute to this concert, to buy refreshments for that night. That's your dinner at our church, at our concert, And also, come expecting a blessing. Come expecting something grand. We're going to also, you asked about special things. Yes, we're going to have hot seats. So you can expect that. Maybe door prizes as well. But that's not why you're coming. You're coming because you want to assist, you want to donate to this worthy cause of helping us to build this new church building. So turn down your pots for that evening. Come on by, be part of the praise and worship, be part of our concert, contribute, and we're going to have lots of refreshments on sale. You don't want to miss it.
And when is it happening again?
13th of April. That's Sunday the 13th of April. So keep your calendars clear for that day. Sunday the 13th of April starts at 7 p.m. So we'd like you to be seated at 6:30, 6:45 so we can get started on time. And we are going to have a grand time. To just recap, tickets are $100 for adults, children 3 to 12, $50, and children under 3, free.
And
but of
school
course,
is out.
And school will be out, so they can stay late.
You can stay later.
So, and where can they purchase the tickets?
From any of our committee members. Let's just recap those numbers again. 705-4116, 683-6734, 726-5145.
Additionally, members from church, you can just call if you know someone from Signal Hill. You can just call and they will connect you with someone. Anybody who knows Natasha or myself, you can call. We have tickets as well.
Yes.
And any member from the committee, if you are not sure who they are, you may know somebody from Signal Hill Church, call. They will connect
All right,
you.
great. Well, thank you so much. And viewers, here's an opportunity to help a very worthy cause. So go and be a part of Abundant Praise. Thank you again for being on with us.
You're welcome.
And thank you for having us.
Great. All right, viewers, we're going to go for a break, but we'll see you in just a few minutes. So don't go anywhere.
It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
You've heard her voice on the radio, seen her in your worship, and have sung her songs during your time of praise. Sinesh.
Everybody now, let's go.
Sinesh comes to Tobago for Melodies from Heaven on April 17th. The Shore Park Complex alights with praise and worship from 6 p.m. for Melodies from Heaven featuring Sinesh.
I shall not want. The Lord has
Samuel Madas.
I can't be the only one who's excited to call your name.
Positive.
Me never could have changed my mind.
Blessed Messenger,
Jesus over your family.
Renee Fortune, and many more.
From my head to my feet.
Get your physical tickets now. Tickets are also available online at islandetickets.com. Visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info or call 639-4441. April 17th at Shore Park Complex. Melodies from Heaven. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm. On Easter weekend 2025, Tobago is the place to be from April 17th to 20th. The rhythm, the soul of Tobago. On Thursday, April 17th, get ready for a worship experience at the Shore Park Complex with Melodies from Heaven. Melodies from Heaven. Then on Saturday, 19th April, immerse yourself in the sun, sea, and sand at the Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival, featuring legends of R&B. On Sunday, 20th April, we bring the curtains down at Parade Grounds, Dwight York Stadium for Fusion. Get your tickets on islandetickets.com now or visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, now we are getting into a conversation this morning talking about something positive happening within the health and wellness space. So we are being joined by Dr. Lystra Antoine, the CEO of Live with LA, sorry. And she has just opened something special in Idlewild called the Copper Canyon Wellness Center. So special good morning and welcome to you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me here.
All right, so tell us first of all, who are you? Like, introduce yourself to the public, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So as you said before, my name is Lystra Antoine. I'm, of course, a born and bred Tobagonian, proud citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. And this wellness center is something that we've opened. We had yesterday the ceremonial opening of the wellness center, the Copper Canyon Wellness Center. And this, when I tell you a little bit of myself, it's because one thing I want to say is that I'm passionate, really passionate about ensuring that our seniors get exceptional care. We at Copper Canyon want to ensure that that happens here in Tobago and with our center. So you'll see here the grand opening. This was yesterday, and we were pleased as well with the turnout. So I'm happy to be here this morning just to share a little bit more about what we did and just to talk a little bit more about the center, less about myself, but more about the center and why we are delighted to be partnering with so many on the island of Tobago and entirely our entire country and abroad to ensure that we could provide exceptional service to our seniors. Yes.
Okay, great. So now getting into the Copper Canyon Wellness Center and what is it about? And here you mentioned seniors and so on. So tell me a little bit about the mission of the center.
Sure. So the center is designed to be and to provide assisted and independent living for we say adults because it's not for children, so we say adults. Seniors to be exact, because when we talk about, who we want in this space, of course, we have provided services to help seniors live dignified, exceptional lives. And so the center will provide those. It's a residential facility, and we've designed the center to ensure that our vision, let me just share with you, our vision is to be the unparalleled role model and embodiment of holistic care and wellness for seniors. Our mission is to deliver excellent and compassionate care to every person, every time. And our values include kindness and compassion, excellence and innovation, sustainability and continuous improvement, and community and empowerment. So this is what we've designed the center for, and we anticipate that at the center, it will be more than just a physical space. It will be a place where people come, their physical needs are met, but not only their physical needs, we expect as well that the social interaction would be substantive so that those who are in the center continue to live very meaningful, engaging lives, not only with other residents in the center, but also in the community and elsewhere.
All right, so give us an idea of some of the services you hope to offer at this center.
Sure. So at the center, we will, for our residents, we intend to have services such as the center has its own gym area. So, for example, these are some of the amenities. Persons would be able to exercise. We will have structured exercise classes. We expect as well to have a nutritionist available for our residents and also for the community, because some of these things we will open to the community. So we expect to have large programs on nutrition. How do we reverse the preventable lifestyle type diseases, and programs such as that, how to prepare meals that are nutritious yet very tasty. We expect as well that for residents, we will be able to have, and we will have access to physicians so that they can receive care. Though our facility is not a medical facility, but we will be able to provide and allow for persons to be cared for within the facility if that is what they would want, and that their physicians would agree to. The other thing is that at the center, we expect as well that we have a conference room at the center. So we expect to have a lot of discussions with the community, with persons who are interested in seniors and ensuring that seniors live exceptional lives, ensuring that they also participate. And they can, and even for our seniors who've had, very, very full lives in the past, they also can continue to impart the knowledge they have on various topics from at the center. So we are determined to bring the community in and to ensure that residents have fulfilled lives. And that's the marriage that we want to ensure happens at the center, so that we're building not only a physical, but your mental, but your that spiritual, that connection, so that people live in community in a way that allows them for their cognitive health to remain very strong for much longer in their lives.
Tell me a little bit about just some of the passion, because I'm hearing it as you're speaking. What's this passion behind? Why do you have this passion for elderly especially, and making sure that they are cared for as they move on to another stage in their lives?
Sure. So this passion, I grew up with my grandmother, and I've always been I've loved my grandmother throughout her life, my mother as well. I've found that I've witnessed that here in our country, this beloved country of ours, we tend to put our seniors out to pasture very early. people are done working at 60, some in the protective services, even at 55, they retire. That's, I say seniors, but those people are very young. And so we really shouldn't be putting, people out to pasture then. And I feel as though there's so much that these seniors, and I'm calling them seniors, I'm also in that category, way over 55, but there's so much that they have to offer. And so for me, as I saw, my grandmother in her later life live sort of a life of solitude in a way, even though she was being cared for well by family, but everybody around, had their own lives. My mom as well, that I saw, we had, of course, a caregiver, but what I felt was missing was a community and a space where she didn't have to necessarily leave to go to find community, but perhaps if she was in a place where she would get exceptional care and have a community of her peers and others around, to me, that would be something that would enrich her life for a much longer period of time. And so this has been a passion of mine, but it's not only my passion, because I call her the birth mother for this center, Marilyn McFarlane, and we have been doing this jointly, working together. She also had the same passion, the passion to see seniors live dignified lives. And so we've been fortunate to come together on this project. And we've also been really fortunate that with God's help, we have been able to get to this stage. And so the next stage for us is to have residents come into the center, and we've received a lot of, expressions of interest. And so we are looking forward to really opening for business. As you'll see here, this is some of the footage from the opening ceremony yesterday. And so we are really open and opening for business so that persons can get the exceptional care and support from the center.
And from those images, you see that it looks so really nicely put together, of course, so clean, and all those things that are so important. So you're making sure our seniors feel comfortable.
Yes, absolutely.
How many people do you hope to have at the residence?
Yes. So the facility on the ground floor and the first floor, we have designed those two especially for assisted living. Mm-hmm. And so there we have roughly 11 rooms in total. Those rooms, it all depends on if somebody wants a room for themselves or if they want to live with someone, like a double occupancy room. And then on the second floor, that floor is designed for independent living. So they're efficiency apartments, and there are 5 of those. So if at maximum occupancy, we're probably looking at about 30 persons that can be comfortably accommodated at this center.
So, I'm gathering here too that this might be one of the largest on the island offering this type of residence.
Perhaps. I think for the services that we offer and for the quality of the facility itself, even the physical space, you may be correct. Mm-hmm. We are grateful that the center has the support of, yesterday we had Dr. Faith Brebner, who is our Secretary for Health, Wellness and Social Protection there. So we want to say thanks so much to her for actually being there. And her support wasn't just yesterday. Her staff have been supportive and providing help to us before. And we also had our minority leader, Kelvon Morris, the minority leader and area representative for Darrell Spring and Wim. They were there. So we expect that we're going to join forces with our community, with our leaders, with our faith leaders. We had Pastor Frank there yesterday and Pastor Williams. And so what we see is that we want to be a beacon in the community to support wellness and health and better nutrition and longevity in life in a way that allows for a holistic experience. We're also really grateful and fortunate to be in a fantastic location that gives exceptional views of Scarborough and the ocean. And so even in terms of it just being a quiet oasis where persons can relax on one of the many balconies that we have, that's the kind of experience that we expect our residents to have. And we also have a commercial kitchen that's fitted to provide all of the meals for our residents.
That's great. And now when we talk about, having a resident setup, a cost also, the cost of this care also comes into being, especially for families who are, in a situation where this might have to be their option in making sure their loved ones are cared for. What kind of payment plans? Just tell us a little bit about how that's supposed to work.
So we are asking for persons to contact us, and you can contact us through the website at coppercanyonlimited.com, or you can call 739-6591 or 683-9590. We want to be able to talk with persons because we need to first understand, the level, the potential resident, also what types of facilities and services they need, because our center will offer consistent, exceptional care, but it all depends on who's coming, what they would want. And so we encourage persons to go on the website. There's information there. They can write to us from directly on the website, and they can contact us also by email. It is Copper Canyon Wellness Center at gmail.com. So any one of those ways, contact us. We will ensure going forward, of course, in terms of how payment is made, we will do everything to make sure that, these are electronic and that we meet all the required standards while ensuring that our patrons and it a very smooth process to both interact with us prior to, during the intake, and then after. And especially for family members who would want to remain in touch. That's the other thing. We want to ensure that family members have a say. Family members feel confident they can come into the center to meet with their loved ones. We are Wi-Fi enabled throughout. So for those persons who have family members who are away, we're also anticipating that we will make it possible for them to see and speak with and engage with their family members while they're resident at the facility. So we look forward to working with a host of vendors and others here in Tobago. And we want to just open and say, this is an invitation. If you think you have a service or any support that you think you could provide to our residents, please reach out to us, because we want to ensure that this is a community effort. No man is an island unto himself. And certainly for us, as we provide exceptional care, and that's the only caveat, we want exceptional care. And so that's the standard we will hold ourselves to, and hold those who partner with us as well to the same standard.
Okay, great. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on with us and for sharing your passion and sharing just the availability of these services, because I know that is something that we've been wanting a lot here in the Tobago space, as some families are faced with the decision of what to do when their family members get to that stage in their lives. So thank you for being here and for sharing.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, and have a great day.
All right, great. Well, viewers, we still got more for you, so please don't go anywhere. We'll be back just after this break.
To a brand new dawn, and I step
Get ready for the Adrenaline Main Ridge Forest Fitness Challenge 2025. Are you up for the ultimate test of endurance with a thrilling 20K race? Or would you prefer a fun and relaxed 5K walk or run? With an incredible pool of over 20,000 TT dollars in prizes to be won, it's time to rally your running buddies and make unforgettable memories. Don't miss out. Get registered and be part of the excitement.
The Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm. On Easter Weekend 2025, Tobago is the place to be from April 17th to 20th. The Rhythm, the Soul of Tobago. On Thursday, April 17th, get ready for a worship experience at the Shore Park Complex with Melodies from Heaven. Melodies from Heaven. Then on Saturday, 19th April, immerse yourself in the sun, sea, and sand at the Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival, featuring legends of R&B. On Sunday, 20th April, we bring the curtains down at Parade Grounds, Dwight York Stadium for Fusion. Get your tickets on islandetickets.com now or visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, now we are switching our conversations to what's going on in the political space. Now, as you've been seeing this week, there's been candidates popping up left, right, and center. We've had, of course, PNM, TPP, the Patriotic Front. We've had the PDP. We're going to have IDA tomorrow. We also saw the APP release a candidate for Tobago West. There's a lot happening. So, getting connected with one of the candidates that's going to be putting himself forward, and this time independently, we are being joined by Mr. Leroy George, who is a hopeful to be a candidate for the Tobago West seat. Good morning and welcome to you, Mr. George. How are you?
Good morning, Candice Jackson. How are you?
I'm great. So first of all, you are going up independently. Why?
So just about 3 years and some months ago, I would have run with a minor political party in the last Tobago House of Assembly elections. At that time, I would have been optimistic that the paralyzing effect that party politics tend to have on the individual within the collective, whereby where democracy is concerned, the collective is supposed to be engaging in brainstorming that would bring about exponential change, positive change. But instead, what oftentimes happens is that the vast majority of the individuals in that collective have to basically shut down that supercomputer, which is their brain, in order to follow one particular narrative. And so instead of being more effective, we're hearing people saying that democracy is less effective than autocracy. And I think that is highly inaccurate. And as a result of that, I've decided to take the route of going as an independent candidate this time around, so that I could be an example, be that change that I want to see in the society around me, and show persons that in this particular time, the 100th year of democracy as practiced through general elections, we could have a type of democracy whereby every single person's voice could be heard. And when everybody's voice could be heard, we could start tackling in an effective way the huge challenges that are in front of us in this year 2025, with the sovereignty of both Trinidad and Tobago in general, and Tobago in particular, both being at risk.
What do you think about yourself that makes you a good candidate to represent the Tobago West constituency?
A couple of things. First thing first, you mentioned that quite a few candidates are going to be running both in Tobago East and in Tobago West, especially in Tobago West. By my calculation, we're looking at 8 persons or so. Now, of those 8 persons, the vast majority of them are not particularly well known in the Tobago space, hence the reason they now have to be running around frantically trying to make themselves very popular very quickly. In the case of myself, however, we're looking at since 2019, I've been active in politics on the highest level, first as an executive council member in a major political party, then as a candidate, etc. And not only that, even between the elections, etc., I've made myself very vocal and somebody that is consistent in basically defending the rights of the minorities in the Tobago space, etc. And so that is one thing that gives me an advantage, just as I mentioned before, the freedom of speech, the freedom of expression. It allows for narratives. I remember just yesterday my uncle was telling me about all the endless things that you need for election. You need music truck, you need billboard, you need this, you need that. I say you don't need any of those things. Votes win elections and narratives win votes. And so the freedom that comes with being an independent candidate, that's going to be an advantage also. Besides that, you would have, of course, the experience that I would have had, research officer, elections officer, all that stuff. Studied at Temple University, a prestigious university in the middle of a black ghetto, and where persons who look like myself, of that, I would have been studying in an environment whereby I could see shifts, because gentrification, all of that stuff came into play whilst I was there. I could see shifts in society whereby I could see negative change or positive change taking place. And if I have to be honest, I'm seeing some shifts in Trinidad and Tobago in general, Tobago in particular, whereby persons who look like myself, think like myself, etc., could find themselves becoming second-class citizens. And so I'm best poised to deal with situations like that. And I think Tobago should be very careful. You do not want in this 2020 to be sending individuals to Trinidad that are not going to protect your sovereignty.
What do you hope to offer to the Bridgeses of Tobago West?
Bridgeses of Tobago West?
Yep.
The electorate you're speaking about. What I hope to offer to them is representation, and representation it's a transaction like any other transaction. It's representation for support. The more support I get, the more representation I'm able to get. I got a little bit of support in the last THA elections, got support when I was elected into different positions in a major political party before that, etc. And persons would have seen the amount of representation I would have been able to give. One would remember the time that I was sitting right here with you, and they were trying to evacuate some persons from their homes in Crown Point prematurely, and the legalities of the situation were iffy at best, to say the least. And I was able to spot in that moment that was a moment I needed to call on the people of Tobago so we could go and protest. So I'm somebody that pays very close attention to the times whereby positive change could happen exponentially and act quickly. Same thing would have happened with Allfields Trace Road. Persons would have remembered that road would have been in very poor condition for a very long time. However, watching the signs of the times, I knew that had I gone out there, made a video about the 49 potholes in less than a mile of road running from the Buku Road right down to where the Assemblyman Wayne Clark's office is, immediately after that, less than a week after that, they fixed the road. So that is something that I bring that nobody else is going to be able to bring.
What specific policies do you hope to bring to Tobago?
A lot of things that are not being dealt with like cocaine addiction. We are having a cocaine epidemic. I could observe it in the streets, etc. And we do not have rehabilitation facilities to deal with that. That is something I want to deal with immediately. Another thing that I want to deal with immediately, persons would remember that back in 2013, the UNC would have brought forward a bill to replace Act 40 of 1996 that would have seen the Tobago House of Assembly evolve from a $2 billion institution into a 4-point-something to 5-point-something billion dollar institution, and the PNM didn't support it simply because it was the UNC. We saw that situation flip itself over, and by 2021, not 2021, it was just last year, PNM would have brought a bill that to me seems identical at first glance to the bill that UNC brought, and UNC didn't support it just because it was PNM. So the first thing I'm going to do as an independent Member of Parliament for Tobago West, irrespective of who brings the bill to table, I'm going to support that bill because the Tobago House of Assembly, I know we need to diversify our economy, but we need to walk in that direction in contrast to running in that direction. And the Tobago House of Assembly is the main source of gross domestic product in the Tobago space right now. And so once you could get exponential growth where that is concerned, you have an exponential increase in the standard of living that is taking place. And so I'm going to definitely support that. And or there are opportunities to bring bills to the Parliament yourself. I am going to make sure that a bill is brought to Parliament if neither of those two things happen, because one of those two parties have to bring the bill forward in order for it to be approved. I'm going to bring a bill to Parliament that consists of only those things that are held common in the UNC bill and the PNM bill. That way, I put pressure on both individuals, both political parties, because you can't oppose such a bill unless you're going to oppose yourself. And in so doing, Tobago House of Assembly becomes bigger. It then becomes the responsibility of the people of Tobago to ensure that that money is spent appropriately with transparency, and of course that would speak to the Tobago House of Assembly, that which will be coming the elections at the end of this year, early next year.
You've been very vocal about in your criticism of the current THA administration. How do you plan to bridge that gap between the THA and the central government? Because as we know, there always is a disconnect. You know, sometimes people say Tobago gets lost in the and between Trinidad and Tobago. But how do you plan to bridge that gap and make sure that the policies, the decisions made in Parliament is done in such a way that the THA can benefit and can feel comfortable to operate within?
One has to know their caps, right? Yes, you're correct. Just like the vast majority of Tobagonians have been very disappointed in this particular THA administration. I think it's their fault why we have so much persons contesting the Tobago East and West seat, because the universe hates a vacuum. And once that huge disappointment happened, then everybody wants to run in to fill that vacuum. That being said, one has to know how to take off the cap. Okay, yes, today I'm a critic of the Tobago House of Assembly, but tomorrow as a Member of Parliament, my job is not necessarily to get along with these individuals. My job is to facilitate these individuals so that they have the opportunity to bring about exponential change. And even though I may have been critical, every single one of those executive council members in the Tobago House of Assembly, including the Chief Secretary, and I have a very working relationship and very cordial also, so that makes it better. And I get along with every single PNM person, even to the point where I heard some naughty rumors concerning myself and PNM.
What kind of representative that you hope to be that might be different from what is there right now?
Well, what we're seeing is persons walking into meetings, and before they get into that meeting, they're saying one thing, and the other thing that is, once they come out of that meeting, they're saying polar opposites. Let me get two examples really quickly. And that is something that has never happened with me and will never happen with me. I got an endorsement from a well-known artist in the Tobago space, the leader of Connection Generals, Mr. Simbalayan. Big up you, Mr. Simbalayan. I greatly appreciated that. He worded it so perfectly. He said, Leroy George is like a 1 cent. He just cannot change, right? And so when you have situations whereby like Shamfako Joe and Joel Nutsi Samson, those are going to be my two largest opponents in this particular battle. You have a situation with Shamfako Joe where 1 minute she before she goes into the Joint Select Committee meetings, she says that Tobago needs to be defined according to its marine territory that it brings into the Union. Something the opposite, and actually parroting an individual which was telling lies, the then Attorney General, Mr. Faris Alwari, where he said that because of our archipelagic status, we would lose most of our marine territory. There's negligible truth to that statement. And so that is something, you can't have somebody that is switching up depending on the room that they're in. We saw the same thing with Mr. Joel Nazi Sampson. Just as I pointed out, when you and I had that sit down and I called on the people to come and protest in Crown Point and we were successful, the persons on that day were able to sleep under their own roofs. That was actually triggered by a statement made by the Assemblyman for Canaan Bonaccord, Mr. Joel Nazi Sampson. And then when he went into the meeting with China Railroad Construction Limited, the very company where the employees were taking out the people's stuff out of their homes, putting it on the side of the road, we saw them coming out of that meeting, and while he was completely quiet where that is concerned, you would have heard his political leader would have been saying that how it was a mistake, they didn't understand his protest, we were protesting, they thought they were helping, stuff like that. And so we saw Mr. Joel Nazi Sampson would have taken the lead of his political leader. Another example would be when the different shops between Swallows and Pigeon Point would have been broken down. The people of Tobago were so disappointed, just like myself, and they would have spoken out against that. And then we heard the political leader of Mr. Joel Nazi Sampson jump up and say, oh, it's not us, it's the police. And the point person between us and the police was Mr. Joel Nazi Sampson. So we've seen consistently persons allowing their original positive, good motives to be clouded and changed by party politics, and that is the thing that Leroy George, is going to be bringing that is different, and I'm going to be the only one that's running as an independent candidate. All others would be paralyzed by party politics. So we want to put personality over party this 2025, the 100th year of democracy, as we practice general elections.
Do you think you'd be able to connect well with the people on the ground and to be able to convince, because there's a large section of Tobagonians that are undecided every election. When you look at the statistics, we see that. How can?
Not only will I be able to collect, well, that's the entire party plan. That is the entire political plan, rather. Let me explain. Everybody, most political analysts will tell you this definitely going to be the most amount of candidates contesting in the Tobago space, and we're probably going to get one of the lower voter turnouts. I'm actually going to predict that we're going to get the lowest voter turnout in Tobago elections other than 1971, which was a very peculiar situation, right? Anyway, as a result of that, what I'm observing is that some politicians are actually trying to see if they could mobilize small segments of what is expected to be a low voter turnout. That's why you might hear statements like, crime in Tobago is the fault of the mothers of the nation. That's somebody trying to basically herd the misogynists in our society onto their team, or old people need to go home. They're trying to herd a particular small group. But I remember a guy by the name of Nairoy Cape. Nairoy Cape and I were liming on Canby Block, Canby Junction, and he said, Leroy George, are you going to vote? I said, no, this is 2013. He said, why are you not going to vote? I said, because I'm not impressed with any of the candidates. He said, you still need to vote. I said, why I still need to vote? He said, because if you do not vote, people who look like us, who think like us, who talk like us, will not be considered when policies and laws are being made. That was the genesis of me going down this particular political pathway that I've been going. And I thought to myself, I need to do what Nairoy Cape did for me. Nairoy Cape did for me, I need to do it for the people of Tobago. That large percentage of Tobagonians who are saying we're not going to vote, I want to motivate those individuals and tell them, listen, you see this year, this 100th year of democracy as practiced through general elections, you need to come out and vote. You need to assert for yourself that authority that you have in the decision makings in Trinidad and Tobago, in particular in Tobago in general.
All right, great. I want to thank you so much, Leroy George. And I just want to say, of course, this is one of our independent candidates. Well, so far, we only have one independent candidate, and this is in the form of Mr. Leroy George. There's a lot happening in the space politically, and we hope to hear from you again before the April 28th election, so we can get a little bit more into some of the policies, some of the things that you want to achieve as MP for Tobago West. So thank you again. And viewers, well, that's how we're going to have to end our show this morning. It was a pleasure. I am Candice Jackson, and we will see you again tomorrow.